Hello, everybody. Jonathan Pulley here with West Coast Weather. Today is February 28th. We're going to talk about this powerful cold front that's moving through the Pacific Northwest right now. It's going to bring some heavy mountain snows and some locally heavy lowland rains as well. It's also bringing some strong winds to the Whidbey Island, Snohomish County areas, and it also brings some blustery conditions to the rest of the Puget Sound in western Washington. Some of those winds down in the central and southern Puget Sound around the Seattle metro area should start picking up here in the next couple hours as the main part of the cold front starts moving into the coastline. This is going to bring a period of pretty heavy rain as that frontal band moves through western Washington around the 4 to 6 p.m. time frame. And then we're going to have this really cold air aloft move over the region as this spills off the Alaska state area. And you can see the main low pressure system all the way up here in the northern Gulf of Alaska kind of spinning. This is allowing that cold air to get pulled off and bring this unstable air that's going to be pushing into the Pacific Northwest over tomorrow through the weekend. That's going to bring thunderstorm chances, some lowland snow chances as well, snow pellets with any of the showers around as temperatures aloft get very cold. The surface is still going to be relatively mild, so we're not expecting any sort of snowstorm or anything like that. But then this is going to bring a very major blizzard to the Sierra Nevadas in California from later tomorrow on Thursday through the weekend. And this is going to be one of the most powerful winter storms in quite some time, at least since last year, but likely going to be just as strong as the storm that hit in 2017 that brung a historic blizzard to parts of the mountains down there. But all this mountain snow is very beneficial, and the travel is going to be really difficult over those mountains, especially in California and parts of the Cascades as we go through later tonight as well. So I hope everybody find these videos enjoyable and informative. I know I haven't done a video in a couple of weeks. School has been pretty busy and stuff, and the weather has been relatively benign for a winter standards, so I just haven't had the time to make these videos. So just please hit the like button, subscribe buttons down below. It helps the channel grow, and it'll help me to get monetized here eventually. It's still going to take some time, but any likes and subscriptions are always appreciated. So without further ado, let's get right into the forecast. Now we're looking at general ridge and trough positions on the European model. Here's British Columbia, up here Washington, Oregon, California. You can see right now today this very cold and deep trough of low pressure is going to start developing over the Gulf of Alaska. This is going to bring that cold air right into the West Coast, creating some very heavy mountain snows for Washington, parts of Oregon, and then eventually California later on Thursday and the Friday. And this is also going to bring some thunderstorm chances. That very cold air aloft moves over the relatively warmer air at the surface and that warmer water as well. So that's going to create some instability aloft, and then that's going to lead to some thunderstorm chances. There's going to be snow pellet potential, hail, and even some lowland snow potential as well. As some of that cold air allows those snow levels to drop. And if we play this through, you can really see it kind of reaches max strength earlier on Friday, but then this kind of slows down and kind of just keeps bombarding California with this cold air, and this is going to lead to this very heavy mountain snow and blizzard conditions up in the mountains over there. They're expecting to see over 5 to 10 feet in places and above 4,000 feet of elevation in the Sierra Nevada mountains. So the travel across I-80 over California is just going to be pretty much impossible. So please do not be driving over the passes unless you 100% have to. Make sure to bring safety supplies, warm clothes, and make sure to have extra fuel for your vehicle, as well as you could get stuck up there for a couple of days if you don't make it across. So just a big heads up with that, because this is a serious winter storm. Then you can see as we go through the weekend, this cold air aloft is going to lead to some potential for some wintry weather over western Washington and Oregon, but it kind of weakens on the European model right now. And I'll show you the GFS in a second. That kind of keeps it a little stronger over the region, which would allow some more cold air to flow over the region. But you can see that even on the European model, there's going to be potential for even more systems as we go through later next week as well. Now looking at the GFS right now, very good agreement in the short term. This is kind of just shows how there's always high confidence within only a couple days of an event happening, because all the malls are kind of getting together and they're able to really see what's going to happen. But as you get farther out, there's going to be more and more variables. So it's kind of like the butterfly effect. If you get a little difference at the beginning, it'll get a bigger and bigger as you go through later in the time frame. So that's why as we get through the 5 to 7 day range, anything after that is basically the fantasy forecast. There's not really any confidence, but we can see some subtle hits even that far out, so it's still good to look that far out anyways. But you can see the GFS, it kind of keeps this trough lingering over the Pacific Northwest a little longer as we go through Monday and the Tuesday. This will allow for some more lowland snow chances to be extended into parts of the early next week. And then you can see it's just got storm after storm still affecting the Pacific Northwest even through early March. So definitely a lot of active weather to look at as we go through the next couple of weeks. Now looking at the precipitation type in inches and also looking at the sea level pressure map, you can see this cold, snowy weather starting to move over the Gulf of Alaska as that cold air flows over the warm waters of the ocean. At least relatively warm waters. But you can see that this powerful cold front just slides all the way through western Washington, Oregon, and all the way into California as we go through Thursday and Friday. And this kind of just meanders, and look at the snow that's just piling up for days and days over California. This is going to lead to some very extreme winter storm conditions, blizzard. There's going to be wind gusts over 60 miles per hour, very heavy snowfall rates. It's going to be crazy up there. I know there's going to be some storm chasers going up there. They're going to get some awesome footage up there, and this will be very beneficial for the mountain snowpack, even for western Washington and Oregon. It's still going to lead to some dangerous conditions over the roadways over the next half a week or so over the Sierra Nevadas, but generally this is very beneficial as we go into the early spring season, and it will keep the mountain snowpack ready as we go towards the summertime frame. And you can just see this continues as we go through Sunday and the Monday before that system finally kicks out. But you can see that additional systems look to start coming through the region, even all the way through later next weekend. So still a really active weather pattern after a rather calm weather conditions the last few weeks. Now taking a closer look at the Pacific Northwest, I'm going to take a look at all the weather conditions for the Pacific Northwest, for Washington, Oregon, Southwest BC, and then I might go over to California near the end of this video. So now look at the HRRR, and this is 10-meter wind gusts. You can see these pretty hefty winds as we go through later today, and let me go to these 1 hour time frames. And you can see as we keep going through the afternoon, now it's 5 p.m., we're still getting wind gusts over 40 to 50 miles per hour for parts of Snohomish County, Skagit County, maybe all the way up to parts of Whatcom County as well, but especially over Whidbey Island. And there's been plenty of power outages over here, and there's also been reports of power lines over the roads. So definitely a really powerful cold front. But there's also going to bring some gusts over 30 to 40 miles per hour for the Seattle area as we go through later this afternoon. And it's going to remain breezy through tonight before it kind of calms down. But then you can see some more gusty winds potentially arriving later on Friday as the system continues to spin moisture and some winds into the region as we go through Friday as well. Now looking at the composite reflectivity, this is basically what the radar may look like according to this model. And you can see that there's a pretty stout rain shadow showing up for parts of Whidbey Island, the Sequim area, all the way up towards the San Juan Islands. This rain shadow will finally collapse as we go through like the 5 to 7 p.m. time frame. And you can see this narrow cold frontal rain band that sets up along the coastline. It even starts affecting western Washington as well. And this is going to bring about of pretty heavy rainfall to the parts of western Washington as we go through the evening commute time. So please be careful if out and about during this time frame, because water will be able to pool on some of the roadways and stuff, and so make sure to take it extra slow. But then you can see this cold front bringing the very heavy mountain snows. Some of these snowfall rates are going to be approaching 2 to 3 inches per hour this afternoon and evening, so some very dangerous driving conditions possible up on Stevens Pass, Snoqualmie Pass, and even the passes over over in Oregon as well. Then you can see behind this, we got these showers and potentially thunderstorms starting to move through later, early tomorrow morning, Thursday morning into Thursday afternoon. You can see this just continues. Look at these heavier cells. These are going to have the potential for hail, snow pellets, heavy rainfall, even some snow if it brings down cold enough air aloft. But you can see as we even go through Friday, this just continues to bombard the region with very heavy precipitation rates in some of these showers. So some parts of the region are going to possibly get 2 to 4 inches in the lowlands, as if you get these heavier cells training over the same area for multiple hours on end. But there's also going to be lightning potential, even some thunder potential, and if everything sets up right in some place, that you could get some like thunder snow pellets, thunder snow, which is very uncommon. So this is a very dynamic system moving through the region right now. And now looking at the NAM, this is looking at surface-based CAPE. CAPE is convective available potential energy. It's basically how much energy in the atmosphere that a thunderstorm has. So the more you have of it, the more likely you're going to get some thunderstorm activity and some intense storm cells. As we go through later on Thursday, look at this CAPE really building over the region. You can see some of these values approaching over 400 to 600. That's pretty high for this region. The NAM kind of overdoes these a bit, but just shows you that there's a lot of potential energy in the atmosphere for some thunderstorms and stuff. And you can see this rebuild even on Friday afternoon. So these showers and thunderstorm chances are not going to end on Thursday and may even last all the way through Saturday, as well as this cold trough just kind of lingers over the region. Now looking at total precipitation in inches on the National Blended Model. So this is kind of an average of all the main models and gives us a kind of a really good look at what we could potentially be seeing for precipitation totals. So as we go through later on Thursday and the Friday, you can really see these precipitation totals building up. As we go through Sunday evening, you can see that anywhere around the Seattle metro area approaching 1 to 2 inches of precipitation. You can see that Rancho up near Squimmin would be on, so maybe only a half inch to an inch of precipitation for some of those areas up there. And you can see even some 2 to 4 inch precipitation amounts possible for the coastlines, especially southwest Oregon and northwestern California, as well as some of those coastal mountain ranges get over 6 inches of precipitation. Also lots of precipitation for the Cascades, and maybe over 6 inches of precipitation for parts of the Olympic Mountains as well. So pretty hefty rainfall totals, and most of this will be falling as snow over a couple thousand feet in elevation in those mountain areas. Now looking at the total snow in inches on the National Blended Models as well. So we play this through, you can really see the snow piling up over Thursday and the Friday. As we go through later Sunday evening, you can see that we're going to be measuring a lot of these areas in the Cascades with feet of snow. You can see Snoqualmie and Stevens Pass maybe approaching 1 to 2 feet of snow, as well in the Mount Baker and Mount Rainier areas, maybe approaching like 3 to 4 feet of snow in some of those at the top of the peak. So the mountains after the next couple of days are going to look very white and very pretty. And you can see even the Oregon Cascades getting a ton of snowfall as well, with maybe 2 to 4 feet of snow in the highest peaks as well. Northwestern California, right down here on the bottom left, you can really see that snow piling up with over 48 inches, pegging the scale. Now looking at the 6-hour precipitation type on the European model, I want to kind of show you that this kind of shows the precipitation types, and you can see these blue colors, which is snow, green is rain. You can see some of these blue colors starting to approach the lowlands, especially near the Kitsap where the cold air pools. But then as we go through Saturday and the Sunday, you can see some of this is approaching the Seattle area. This is kind of just showing that there's very cold air alofts, and so there's going to be some, mostly everybody's going to probably see at least some sort of snowflakes over the next half a week or so. But then you can see this low pressure system starting to move into parts of Oregon and Western Washington and Southwest BC later on Sunday and the Monday. I'm really keeping a close eye on this because some of the models have been showing potential for some pretty decent lowland snow potential with this, but everything's going to have to set up right. And the European model kind of backed off of that a bit, but you can see that these blues start building up even around parts of the Puget Sound. This is still kind of in the fantasy forecast range, as this is still 5 to 6 days away, but I'll have another video either on Friday or Saturday taking a closer look at this to see what the models are showing by then. But there is going to be some potential with that, and maybe some more systems later next week. Now looking at some nice graphics from the National Weather Service of Seattle. This is showing the rain, snow, and wind, and there's going to be some more graphics after this. This is the total liquid precipitation forecast on the right. You can see around 1 to 2 inches for the Puget Sound, 2 to 4 inches for the coastlines. For this, 8 inches of precipitation for the Olympic Mountains, and around 3 to 6 inches for most of the Cascades. So all that's going to be falling is snow in the mountains, mostly rain in the lowlands. But you can see potential for rises on area rivers, several inches of rain through the lowlands and foothills, with snow levels increasing to around 4,500 feet tomorrow. Heavy rain may lead the roadway, ponding, and poor drainage areas. Turn around, don't drown. So just be careful of out on those roadways later this afternoon and evening as some of that heavier rain moves through, as it will lead the roadway ponding. And now looking at the snow, you can see that they're forecasting around 18 to 24 inches for Stevens and Snoqualmie Pass. So that's about 1.5 feet to 2 feet of snow. This is total snow from Tuesday through Thursday evening. So some of this is already fallen from yesterday evening and this morning, but I still expect another good 0.5 foot to 1 foot of snow up there in the mountains as we go through later today, with some very heavy snowfall rates around that 1 to 2 feet of snow for the Olympics and 1 to 4 feet of snow for the Cascades. Strong wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour may create some hazardous conditions in the passes. And now looking at the wind, you can see a lot of this wind has already happened, but it's still blowing here on Whidbey Island currently. Strong south to southwesterly winds peaking Wednesday before tapering off Wednesday night. Winds will likely be strongest along the Hood Canal, Whidbey Island, western Snohomish / Skagit County, along the immediate coastline areas. Gusty winds may cause localized power outage and tree limb damage. Temporary structures could be damaged. So yeah, this is already verifying, especially for the Whidbey Island, Camano Island, and Snohomish County areas where there's plenty of power outages right now. These strong winds will also impact the eastern Washington area from today through Thursday, with widespread wind gusts through the 45 miles per hour, with gusts of 50 to 65 miles per hour possible within these black dashes up here in some of the upper highlands of the Columbia Basin near Wilbur, north of Moses Lake, south around Omak, and south and east of there. And now looking at the winter storm warnings for the Cascades, wind gusts as high as 55 to 60 miles per hour. This is for the Oregon Cascades and northern Blue Mountains through Thursday and through Friday. So just please check out the WSDOT website or trip check check on the latest information for those road conditions up there. But so definitely some winter weather up there in the mountains. And there's also going to be some gusty winds for the Portland area and the Willamette Valley area, with strongest along the central Oregon coast, with gusts 50 to 55 miles per hour, with gusts of 30 to 45 miles per hour inland. So some gusty winds may blow around unsecured objects, and some isolated power outages may happen. This is also going to be a high impact storm for the Medford National Weather Service office area. So those coastal mountains that we saw with those lots of feet of snow falling in the Cascades over there, and some of those coastal mountain ranges. So Wednesday night through Thursday, strong cold front, strong gusty winds, strongest at the coast, Shasta Valley, and east of the Cascades. Heavy rain and mountain snows. Snow level around 4,500 to 5,000 feet Wednesday p.m., lowering to 2,500 feet late Thursday morning as that cold front moves through. Thursday evening through Friday, another front brings moderate precipitation and gusty winds, with snow levels around 15 to 2,000 feet. All area passes likely affected, including lower passes west of the Cascades. And then Friday night and the Saturday, more light to moderate precipitation continues, and snow levels lower down the many valley floors around 5,000 to 1,000 feet. Definitely quite the winter storm. Now looking at the California forecast details, this is looking at the 6-hour precipitation type and sea level pressure. So the precipitation starts moving to California early Thursday morning before spreading over all of the Cascades, with the peak of the winter storm expected late Friday into Saturday, with some very extreme snowfall rates, gusty winds as that pressure gradient sets up over California. And you can really see this all continues all the way through early on Monday morning before tapering off, and then potentially more systems after that. So basically all the way from Thursday morning through Sunday evening, there's going to be snow falling in the Sierras, and there's going to be plenty of precipitation on the coastlines as well. Some of those coastal mountain ranges are also going to be getting tons of snow as well. So now looking at total precipitation inches on the European model, if we play this through Monday morning, you can see, look at this precipitation over the Sierra Nevadas approaching 5 to 9 inches of precipitation. This will all be falling as feet and feet of snow. And you can also see the precipitation amounts approaching 6 inches for some of those coastal mountain ranges in Northwest California. You can see the coastline all the way down to just south of the Bay Area approaching 2 to 4 inches in some of those coastal mountain areas. And even Los Angeles getting maybe a half inch to an inch of precipitation over the next weekend or so. And now looking at the total snow Kuchera ratio in inches. Kuchera ratio basically accounts for what the temperature is going to be like. So the colder the temperature, the more snow there's going to be, as that snow is going to be lighter and those snowflakes are going to be smaller. So that allows for more snow to fall. And the lower, the warmer it is, the bigger the flakes are, and that's going to cause less snow to form. That's at least the basics of it. But as we go through early Monday morning, look at this. The max is over 200 inches on one of these mountain peaks. That's well over 15 feet of snow, and you can see that the good average is over 80 inches for some of these higher peaks, and that's going to allow for some insane like snowfall rates and really gusty winds. So really not the time to be traveling over the California mountain passes all the way through this week and in early next week. And I-80 and some of those other highways crossing over the Sierra Nevadas are likely to be closed for a couple of days, as this is going to be a very extreme winter storm. And now looking at 10-meter wind gusts, you can see that there's going to be some gusty winds as that cold front hitting the Pacific Northwest finally moves through California around Thursday morning / Thursday afternoon. Some gusty winds in the valleys, really not expecting much with that, but that's also going to increase winds for the mountains with some gusts over 40 to 50 miles per hour, leading to the start of blizzard conditions. But as that pressure gradient really gets started later on Friday and the Saturday during the peak of the winter storm, you can see that these heaviest precipitation rates also coincide with the strongest winds, with some of these highest peaks approaching 60 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts. So that's going to create whiteout conditions. The National Weather Service, some of the National Weather Service offices say not even to go outside if you live up in the mountains, as you may get disoriented because there's going to be near zero visibility. So some pretty crazy conditions up there. Now looking at the total snow in inches on the National Weather models, this kind of gives us a better idea of what we may expect. You can see that these are not, it's still, the max is over 150 inches, which that's over 12 feet of snow still. So even with the blend of models, there's still some crazy snow totals. So an amazing winter storm going to be hitting the Sierra Nevadas and parts of the coastal mountain ranges of California. And you can see that well over 80 inches for most of the region, so at least 5 to 10 feet for most mountain areas. And here's a really great graphic from the National Weather Service of Sacramento, California, showing the storm timeline. You can see that major impacts start up on Thursday with moderate AM rain / snow north of I-80, and then 30 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts locally over 60 miles per hour for the Sierra. Snow levels 4,500 to 5,500 feet. And then Friday and Saturday are going to be the peak of the winter storm, with extreme winter storm impacts with heavy to extremely heavy snow, strong winds, gusts to 30 to 50 miles per hour with locally over 60 miles per hour over the Sierra. Snow levels 2,000 to 4,000 feet. Saturday, moderate to heavy rain / snow and strong winds continue over the Sierra. Snow levels dropping down to 1,000 to 2,500 feet. And you can see that there's going to be finally dry out later on Sunday and the Monday, with only minor impacts expected, but still some moderate rain / snow continuing in the Sunday and Monday as well. But you can see the snowfall forecast from the National Weather Service of Sacramento, California, showing extreme snowfall amounts, with Blue Canyon 48 to 60 inches, with some of those highest peaks approaching over 100 inches of snow. Dangerous travel with excessive delay, significant reduction in visibility with whiteout conditions at times, chain controls and road road closures, down trees, tree branches, and power outages, and lowering snow levels as we go through later Saturday and the Sunday as well. The timing of the storm will be Thursday through Sunday, as I was saying before, March 29th through March 3rd. Now looking at the total precipitation inches, you can see even the lowlands and some of the coastlines getting over half inch to an inch of precipitation, but the real story is the mountains with over 4 to 8 inches of precipitation over much of the Sierra Nevadas, which is going to lead to some extreme snowfall amounts. But you can see that they've issued blizzard warnings for almost all of the Sierra Nevadas, and blizzard warnings are not that common. And so that just shows the severity of this storm. And you can see forecasts of 5 to 10 feet above 5,000 feet, 1 to 4 feet of snow above 3,000 feet, lighter accumulations down to 1,000 feet. But you can see this is also going to happen with wind gusts up to 65 miles per hour, and that's just ridiculous. And you can see that they're saying extremely difficult and impossible to travel, whiteout conditions and near zero visibility, excessive travel delays and chain controls, road closures, likely down trees, tree branches, and extended power outages. Travel is highly discouraged, so please do not go over the passes unless you 100% need to for some reason. Now looking at the extended range, this is from the National Weather Service Climate Prediction Center. This is a 6 to 10 day temperature outlook showing that below average temperatures through March 4th through 8th. This is showing that trough is just going to kind of set up over the west coast, bringing those cooler conditions, and also above average precipitation on the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. Now looking at the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, this is from March 6th through the 12th, that they're hinting at below average temperatures remaining over much of the west coast with above average precipitation possible. Still plenty of time to look at this, but it looks like the weather's going to remain active through early March. Well, everybody, that's it for this video. I hope everybody found this video informative and enjoyable. Please be careful out there if living in those mountains of the Sierra Nevadas in California over the next 3 to 4 days, as that extreme winter storm impacts the region down there. But I expect this cold front to move through the Pacific Northwest over this evening and bring some locally heavy rainfall to the evening commute over the Seattle metro area and parts of Portland later tonight. So just please be careful on the roads out there. Strong winds will continue over much of western Washington over the next few hours as well. But this really cold air is going to bring those thunderstorm chances for western Washington and Oregon as we go through the next few days as well. And then it'll eventually drop down and bring that storm to California. Additional systems likely through later next week as well, but I will talk about that a little closer with some of the weekend videos that I do later on Friday or Saturday as well. And I'll also go into depths about what's happening in California by then as well. But until then, take care, God bless everybody, and I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of their day.